Hello and welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, Skillet coming to you from X4 Foundations, our beginner series. Things to think about and kind of how to start games. I'm going to actually pause real quick before it gets noisy. Now, if you are following along and new to the channel, I hope you're hitting that like button if you do like a video. But more importantly, hitting that hype button does get us to a wider audience. If you keep coming back, think about throwing up a subscribe. And more importantly, comment. Whether a hello, a question, or maybe it's something to add to one of the videos. Maybe I missed something. There's a whole lot to this game, and we're all here to help each other out. The community for X4 is pretty friendly, from what I've found out at least. And we are always willing to help, especially me. So if you have a question, toss it in the comments. And today I want to talk about starting passive income. So if we think about episode 1, we talked about missions and taking out the criminal traffic and exploring. So we get a good knowledge of other stations, possibly other missions, more criminal traffic to help gain rep, but also gain money. Episode 2, we talked about crystal mining and upgrades for your ships. And if you've been doing what we talked about in episode 1, missions, the criminal traffic, you should get a new mission to you. And that is promotion, because you have ranked up enough in terms of rep. And we just so happen to also have one of those missions. Promotion, friend of the Federation. If you are with the Argon, or if you're with anybody else, because hopefully you have been exploring and hopefully you've traveled the ring network a little bit. And we're going to come back to this in a moment. But we are going to activate this. We're already on the wharf. Once you activate the mission, it should take you to where their faction representative is. And we are going to unpause and we are going to go down and talk to them. Now, when we talk about mining or passive income, which is going to be mining, I want to first talk about gas mining. And I want to talk about gas mining because it is really a lower bar of entry, even if it is a minuscule amount, which can happen. There are not set prices on ships. So ship costs can vary depending on the supply and demand for your station or your universe. Every universe, every playthrough is a tad different. So, no playthrough is the same. No pricing is typically the same either. But slightly a lower bar of entry, but it's less risk. If you have been exploring around, maybe you have already met some of the little pyramid boys, or the kayak, or however you want to pronounce it. Don't really want to pronounce it how they do in the game because of YouTube. But I call them little pyramid boys. They fly around in those purple triangles and they go bzz, bzz at your miners. That is in relationship to mineral mining. So ore, silicon, ice, nevidium especially. The more mining of those solid minerals that there are, the more likelihood that the little pyramid boys will show up. However, gas mining doesn't play in that algorithm, but they can still get attacked. So before we actually get our promotion, let's take a look at what we could possibly buy here at the Argon Wharf. So a mineral miner is 194,000. A gas miner, and that's just chassis alone, by the way. There's no modules on this ship. A gas miner is 187,000 chassis alone, no modules on the ship. Now, for mining specifically, the stations out in the universe will have a miner attached to them, and typically a trader. So, we have competition with the station itself. What we want to do is play against the time it takes the station to relay the order or realize it needs, that mineral, puts the order for their miner to possibly leave the station or to return to the station with the mineral. We want to be in the middle of that interaction, because if we are, and we have a full cargo capacity, we can sell that for the top credit that we can get. But most production stations will be, going through. So we still have the possibility of getting that top credit, but time is our enemy with the added competition. So travel drive is going to be what I'm going to suggest, because we're going to be able to get the mineral, and then we're going to be able to boost to that station and sell the ware, and vice versa, from station to mineral, mineral to station. Hopefully we can beat out their own ship. Now, maneuvering thrusters we can probably skimp out on, so all around is just fine. Shields, I'm going to suggest the highest shield, because again, we never know. Your miners can be attacked. Turrets, before our promotion, this is what we have. Just pulse turrets. They are a good all-round weapon. They're not they're a jack of all trades, a master of none. Could there be a better turret for your ship? Yes. Yes, there can be. Will the pulse turrets work? Yes. Are they also the cheapest? Yes. So if you want to stick on the low end of everything, stick with the pulse turret. You really can't go wrong with the pulse turrets until we get to like capital ships. But then again, it's a jack of all trades. It's gonna do the job. Might not be as effective as some other turrets though. And here for software, I'm actually going to skimp out on docking software, and we're going to go for what's required. Now, I typically do the long range Mark II. You don't have to. If we're thinking about just cost effectiveness on its own, long range Mark I, we're going to go basic. What I do myself is I always go targeting software and trading software. These two help with either target acquisition for the turrets and then trading acquisition for the actual trade itself. And then we are going to add a captain, and look at that. We have come to our first little roadblock. The station now no longer has the hull parts to produce our ship, but we can still place the order for the ship. It will cost us 836,383 credits. Your game will be different, so don't take that as a set price. And you might be asking yourself, Skillet, what about deployables? If you remember in episode 2, we had some resource probes, we had some satellites, and we actually purchased a few other satellites as well. So hopefully you have found some mineral areas to deploy those resource probes. You found some stations to deploy those satellites at. But if you haven't, and you don't know what to look for, just wait. We'll get there in a second. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to actually place this order. I'm going to confirm. And the station will have to get those hull parts before it actually produces. But we're going to go for our promotion right now.
We've been watching your work with great interest and wanted to reward you for it. I'm pleased to present you with a new rank amongst our organization. Of course, this rank comes with great benefits. These benefits are tied to the rank, so if you lose the rank, the benefits go too. But with your record, I'm sure we won't have to worry about that. I hope you find these rewards fit into the work you've done and make the most of them. Oh, and you may also find that certain organizations under our jurisdiction now have interest in joining their ranks. Once again, Thank you for your efforts. We look forward to working with you more in the future. Good luck out there.
Perfect. Now we are a friend of the Federation. If we go back to... I'm going to pause because that buzzing in the background's kind of annoying me now. If we go back to this, okay, clearly we have warnings. Hull parts are not here. But if we go back to the gas, we now have the whole roster of turrets. We actually have the whole list of M-class ships and S-class ships that we can purchase from. So, gives us a bit more flexibility, especially when it comes to what ships we're going to want later down the road. So, upgrading that rep is important. Now, let's say that you don't know what to look for when it comes to resource probes, resources, or even safe sectors. My recommendation, typically how most start out, is you are going to be friendly with the god realm of the Pyramid. This is a good thing because they have a sector just directly across Trinity Sanctum 3, which is a relatively safe sector. There's not a whole lot that really happens, or out of the years that I've played this game, I don't remember a time where Trinity Sanctum 3 was ever in threat of anything. So, we've placed a satellite, we've placed 2 resource probes. Now, the blue is gas. The red is solid. The purple is a mix of both. And so what we have here is we can actually click on this mining here, and it's going to tell us without having to hover over it. We have some methane. We have a good bit of hydrogen. There's some nevidium, ore, and silicon. So what this station is wanting, we're going to switch out here. The station is wanting methane to produce graphene. There happens to be a tiny bit of methane in this pocket. So once we get our miner, what we can do is we can tell him to mine in Trinity Sanctum. And again, Trinity Sanctum, out of the many times I've played this game over the many years, has been a relatively safe sector. Now, your universe, well, let's be honest. Your universe can fall to pieces at any moment in time because of however the game wanted to start. But, fingers crossed, that will not happen. So you can start your trading in Trinity Sanctum. And once you get enough money, what you can start doing is you can purchase miners straight from them. Right, 190 here. Do this the same way that we did before. And by the time you're ready to purchase a miner here, you might actually have enough rep based off the trades that you have done, where you might have all of these available. $827,000. Also, currently, no warnings to say we cannot produce the ship for you. So this is how you start that passive income. This is going to be where you can start actually interacting with other factions as well, especially if you do find a relatively safe sector to start your mining in. I am going to just say Trinity Sanctum for the first, we'll say, million that you can get in revenue from just trading, and grow that in Trinity Sanctum as well. You are going to help grow their economy. What you can also do is Black Hole Sun here. There is methane, hydrogen, helium. So if we've explored further south, or if we've gotten to Grand Exchange and some of these other sectors, especially the new sectors over here, you might be able to find some other stations that you can sell at. But again, gas mining is going to be the safest and, I don't want to say most lucrative. I do think silicon is a little more lucrative in terms of just pure revenue that you can make, but it's the less risky move to start with. So, long run, you might be able to get more out of gas mining that you can out of mineral mining. And it really depends on your universe and where you mine. So, but that's going to be it for today. Once we get to your first, we're going to say first 5 million, we're going to start taking a look at other things you can do as passive income. But this is going to be Skillet signing out for now. I do hope you have a wonderful evening, morning, afternoon, whenever you do watch. I will catch you guys on the next one.